What up? What up? Welcome to
What's up?
episode. What's this episode again?
It's 17, believe it or not.
17. Welcome to episode 17 of the
17.
Talking Shop podcast.
It's crazy. 17. How was your weekend, Josh? I feel like I ask you that every time, and I'm just waiting for something wacky to come out of your mouth.
Well, I celebrated 14 years of marriage this weekend.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. We went down to Charleston for Saturday and Sunday and just got away from kids and got to eat out. And then we rented 2 jet skis and went on a little jet ski tour. And they take you to an area after showing you some sites. They take you to an area where you can just horse around on these are brand new 1100 Sea-Doos, and I wiped this one out so bad. I was going too fast and horsing around, and it ragdoll flipped me, and I ended up about 15 feet from the wave runner. But we are both very sore today because it was very choppy in the water, but it was a blast, and now we're back to the grind. And 14 down, many more to go, hopefully. So
good for you. Where'd you go eat in Charleston? I'm from Charleston, so you can like swing a dead cat around and hit a great restaurant. But where'd you eat?
You might not know where we ate because we looked for a little spot that wasn't swamped, and it was called Art's Bar and Grill. It was a little rinky-dink place, but it was like super good, and it wasn't packed like all the other places we drove by were packed because it was Saturday night. And so Sunday we ate at the resort. They got a little restaurant there that we ate at. So but yeah, I had a feeling you wouldn't know where it was because it was a little hole in the wall, but it was really good.
Those are the best. Sometimes those hole in the wall places are scary, but in Charleston, the more hole in the wall ish, it probably the better the food. And the fact that you didn't have to wait 2 hours.
No, not at all. I'll have to, now that I know you're from Charleston, I'll have to pick your brain next time we go down. So,
yeah, I mean, I have known people and met people that have been there on vacation and then just have called home and just said, send our stuff. We're not coming back.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, good. Hello, JP. Hello, Matt
Roper.
How are you guys? Yes.
Hey, Matt, Monday Night Raw tonight. You're about the only person I can talk wrestling with. I don't know anyone else that.
Well, you want to go ahead and hit the rundown so we can get folks out of here and to wrestling and maybe even another a break that's coming up after the podcast. So why don't you hit the rundown for us?
Yes. So in the opening rip, we're going to talk about some talk sports, little Tom Brady, my man. We're going to look at our playoff bracket and the current playoff picture. We're going to talk about what's new in the shop. We got a couple new things on their way as we speak. And then behind the counter segment, we are going to talk a little PSA, a little grading. The grading talk will spill over into the hobby advice section of the show. Then we're going to look at some cards from the vault or something a little different from you out of the vault this week. And then we'll talk about some products that are on the horizon. Next week is a light week for products, but there's 1 or 2 coming. And then, like always, we're going to wrap up with our crazy stat of the week.
Awesome. So the opening rip, your boy, Tom Brady, I tell you, I usually do not. Usually I can stay happy for folks no matter what, but he's just piling on now. He's piling on. Let me share this on the screen.
Yeah, this should actually belong in the mind-blowing stat.
It's crazy, and I've seen other stats. I should have pulled a stat up with what he has made as a player versus what he has made or will be making with Fox. What do you make of this, Josh? $375 million a year. His career is not even over.
What's mind-boggling is he's played for he's played for over 20 years as the greatest quarterback to ever play, and he's going to make more money talking about it on TV afterwards. It's insane to me. But um, what's I'm not a, I guess I'm a fan because my boy will stay current and in the spotlight a little bit. I just never thought of him as having a Romo type personality, but maybe when he's in that role, he'll loosen up a little bit and it'll be a side that no one's seen, and that could be really entertaining. And he's obviously going to have, the Romo type knowledge in his head. And I think that part will be fun to watch, like Romo does, guessing telling you what's going to come next. And I think people will really get to see, like with Romo, brain behind it.
Yeah, you know what? For them to have gone ahead and signed him, they probably, I mean, he's done some commercials. Obviously the camera loves him. But my first thought was they're going to give him free reign to criticize as much as he wants to. Like Romo and these guys, they can criticize players and they're sort of their brethren, like they're the brotherhood. So, sometimes players will sort of pull their punches. But I think with this price tag and with his stature, I think he's going to be able to criticize coaches, players, GMs as much as he wants to, and sort of not be afraid of the backlash. What do you think about that?
Is he gonna pull his Brady-esque, like let's give these very generic, let's not stir up any controversy?
Right.
That's kind of a Patriot thing. I think that will be a little less like it was when it was in New England. That was their role, is to not talk about those things and be very generic. So it's going to be cool to see a different side of him, because I think he's got to be that way. And he's polarizing. People love him, people hate him. So they're going to probably tune in just to hear what he has to say. I like the fact, for a collecting standpoint and as a PC standpoint, he'll stay relevant. People will. I don't like him doing that because I want him to play a couple more years. I don't want him already talking about what he's going to do next.
Right.
So that you got to think maybe he's got a year or two max left. But
yeah,
I hope
my hope is, so I've watched. I'm a big golf nut, and I've watched my fair share of golf, and so I'm guessing you haven't watched a lot of golf on television.
No, well, I'm cool. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
It's good for a nap, I promise you. No matter how big of a golf fan, it's like a snooze button. You just fall right to sleep. But on NBC, and he's retired, but if you watched any golf on NBC, any of the U.S. Open coverage, there was a guy, and he was a player back in the day, and he was a great player, Hall of Famer. His name was Johnny Miller. And he was famous for criticizing golfers. And he would, you wouldn't, like, there's some unwritten rules. We've talked about that in other episodes, but there's unwritten rules. Like, you cannot say out loud that a player flat out choked, or that he just mailed it in. This guy would say it. He would say it. He didn't care if it was Tiger Woods. He would say he just choked on that shot. And it'll be interesting to see if Tom Brady has that sort of green light to say, yep, that he should be ashamed of himself. That's a pass that he should be able to make, or that guy just dropped it, or that kicker choked, or that was the wrong call by the coach. I cannot wait. I hope they let him loose and that he could say anything. And he's basically bulletproof because he's Tom Brady. I hope they give him open reign to say whatever he wants on live television. Heck, I hope they have to bleep him.
The American people like that. They like the let's just tell it like it is. People like that. It works.
It does, and I think it would work for Tom. Talking golf, more golf. Did you see the special when it was him and Tiger versus or him and Mickelson, or who, I forgot who they were teamed up with? Did you watch that golf special?
I didn't. Just kind of the headlines from it back when they did it.
Tom can give it. Like he can give
Oh
the
yeah.
needle when he wants to.
When
And
what was Peyton Manning involved in that?
it
Did you
was.
say?
It was Peyton and
Yeah,
Tiger versus Tom and Phil Mickelson, or I may have been
that's
getting
right.
that mixed up. But
Yeah,
um,
him and Peyton like to give it to each
oh
other,
yeah, oh
and
yeah. And so I'm looking forward to it. I just the minute this came across, I emailed myself. It got in the show notes. I'm like, we've got to talk about this. Do you think this will? Do you think this will have any effect on his cards? Like halfway through this deal, he gets into the Hall of Fame, right? It's 5 years.
right.
And so is there a bump or is it just
I
they're
think
always going to go up?
just the not riding off into the sunset and staying top of mind, I think will definitely help for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless he ends up being the greatest announcer of all time, which will probably, knowing his luck, he'll probably get crowned that too.
Are there announcer cards? There got to be announcer cards, right?
There is. I've seen some baseball ones specifically, but there probably will be now. You know, you got Romo, you got Brady. I
There you
mean,
go. There you go. All right.
right now I think Romo's got that crown. Everybody loves listening to him, and I'm
Well, it's
guilty of
because he's telepathic. I mean, how many times in one game can he call the play that's coming up?
Well, he talks like a real dude watching sports, but in a professional manner. And so he's the perfect blend of like, I can be a professional, but I can still be a real dude talking about sports and joking around. Where these other guys are old, crusty guys that are just professional sport. And people don't want crusty and boring. They want people to tell it like it is. But they also don't want, these idiots on there as well. Yeah, JP said, I'm sure there's a John Madden out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt's like, yep, Topps Archives does them.
I wonder if Frank Caliendo will be able to do a Tom Brady impression. I wonder if he'll work on one of those.
That would be cool.
You know what I saw? It was a meme that came across. Golly, I wish I had the picture to throw it up there, but it was side-by-side Brady pictures. And it was Brady as a rookie and a mugshot of him as a rookie, and then mugshot of him now. And as a rookie, he's this unkempt, chubby-faced, messy-haired rookie. And then the next one that's got a current picture, he's got this chiseled jaw and this perfect hair and this nice tan. And it says, proof that you're not ugly, you're just poor.
You're just poor.
If you feel like you're ugly, you're not. You're just poor, because Brady was ugly as a rookie, and now he looked like a model in that picture. Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. This is living proof that you are not ugly. If you think you're ugly, you're not. You're just poor.
All right, let's get caught up on the NBA playoff bracket.
So if someone had taken me up on my bet, remember I said I wanted the Warriors, the Bucks, and the Suns against the field. Well, I'm skating on thin ice, but I still got the Warriors.
You do,
and I'm starting to sweat a little bit, even though I'm pulling for the Mavericks.
Oh man, if you were following Instagram and any card accounts on Instagram, it's all Luka all the time now. You are seeing his cards all over the place. And I didn't watch 1 minute of that series. Have you watched any of this basketball? I've watched the Golden State games, but I haven't watched any other teams. Well, what's it looking like?
It's LeBron. I've heard the comparison of LeBron early career. He went to the finals with just absolutely nobody. He put the Cavs team on his back and went to the finals. I listened to Nick Wright's podcast. He was saying this is very, very of the same feeling of that. Just Luka putting the team on his back. He's got nobody else to do it with him. Jason Kidd even said that we need more than just Luka doing the work, But LeBron did it back then and got to the finals. I think he didn't win, but he got to the finals, and this feels very similar to that. Ed says Tatum versus Luka. I mean, it's going to be hard to get by the Warriors, because the Warriors can just be complete garbage one night, and then the next night they're just unstoppable. Yeah. They're just such good shooters, and it seemed like the Grizzlies were like, hey, the Grizzlies might actually do this. Nope, they're done. So
no, I think the emergence of Jordan Poole, the fact that they just can't pick one Splash Brother, to shut down. That just gives them something that is sort of the X factor right now. So, and then we talked in the pregame. No one's talking. I haven't heard or seen anything about Miami. Everybody's talking about Tatum. Everybody's talking about Steph. Everybody's talking about Luka, and nobody's talking about Miami.
And that usually means Miami will win it all, probably.
Right. So, any other thoughts on the playoffs? I mean, it's must see television now. I really do think that. I mean,
yeah, I do too. I am really shocked the Bucks went out like that, but the Celtics are just hot and they're on fire, and it just wasn't their year. So I think you're right. I think Miami's going to be sneakily scary. But again, I mean, JP said the same thing in the comments. I agree. If the Warriors stay healthy, it's going to be mission impossible for Luka just because he's doing it by himself. But Matt Roper says the hockey playoffs have been fantastic. Matt, get out of here with that hockey talk. We're too Southern for that.
Well, I mean, I've never been to an NBA game. I've been to college games, college basketball games, but there isn't a sport that loses more between television and live than hockey, or from live to television. I mean, you don't even have to know what's going on in a hockey game and have fun if you're there live in person.
Oh, I've heard that. I've never been to a hockey game. All I hear is like you go in person, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I'd still stand by the fact that I think this is Jason Tatum's year. As much as I would want the Warriors to win, I think they've gotten hot at the right time, and he is just really, really good. So,
yep. So for the hobby, I mean, you got to look at it this way: Warriors, Mavs, or Celtics is probably good for the hobby. I mean, there's not much on the Heat. You know, Tyler Hero had his little card splash, a little while back, but Steph will just continue to cement his legacy with a win, and Luka will be Luka, and his cards will be nuts, and then Tatum is gonna earn that spot. So, and his cards will then be crowned as ones to invest in, I think.
Yeah, if you're not, if you haven't gotten key cards from these teams, it may be a bit late. You may just have to wait until after the playoffs, because if you try to buy them now, hoping they'll go much further as far as value, then you may have missed the boat. So
yeah, I think LeBron's the person to buy. I mean, even if you don't like him, I'm just telling you, he's going to break the scoring record, and there's going to be a big hoopla. The Lakers are not going to. They're not going to miss the playoffs next year. They're going to make whatever adjustments they need to make, kind of clean house. LeBron, I think, is a smart investment right now. I know his stuff's not dirt cheap. It's LeBron, but it's down from where it probably should be, and it's down from where it'll probably end. And he's made it known he is going to play with his son in the NBA. So there's going to be a lot of attention around that in a few years. So he's got a few more years in the tank. I mean, he could have – I don't like LeBron at all, period, but he could have won the scoring title this year, for the season if he really wanted to. I think he took it easy that last little bit, and I think what he needed to play another game or two was all, and just not lay an egg, I think, and he probably would have had it if I'm remembering right, because someone's like, oh, he's injured. He's going to go in and loaf the last game or two just to win the scoring title. So, I mean, to do that at this stage in his career, basically can score at will still, and his stuff's down a little bit. He's either got another ring left in him, or he's going to get that scoring title. He's going to have the hoopla around playing with his son. And if you JP says, could you imagine if he goes back to Cleveland now? He said he's going to retire a Cavalier, and then people got all up in arms, and he was like, slow down. You do realize I can sign like a one-day contract and retire. So that's more what he was talking about. But he's going to –
Oh, that's a hot take. We're gonna have to play that back when the season starts next year, and the midseason. I'll have to like clip this and see where that's at. I love that. I love that take. All right. What is coming to the shop this week?
So we love Gypsy Queen at the shop. It is on its way. It launches Friday. We're going to have a good bit of it because we always sell it really well. And I'm sorry, I'm checking out some of the. We've got some people saying as a Cavs fan, I'm not sure I would take him back. JP is probably right there too. Probably the owner of the Cavs one day. He'll own a team. I would put my life on it. Whether it be the Cavs, I don't know. Probably, but Ed says his kid's the 34th best prospect in 2023, so that's pretty
nuts.
sweet. But yeah, so Gypsy Queen and Top Sterling baseball. Sterling's expensive, so we don't have a lot of that coming. I think it gets close to $1,000 a box, I believe. So very little of that coming. That's just starts pricing too many people out of it, and we're not gonna live and die by $1,000 boxes, but we will live and die by $140 boxes. I think that's probably around what Gypsy Queen will be. I would say we'd break some of it on launch day, but the way the breaks have been filling, I'm a little nervous to say that. So,
no, come on. It's Gypsy Queen. Gypsy Queen. If you break Gypsy Queen, it's like breaking Heritage. You got to go slow. You got to look for missing nameplates. You got to look for the backs.
Missing hats.
Oh, man. I love Gypsy Queen. I love it.
Too.
Love it. Love it. So
it's one of my favorite. I love the autos are on card.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait. I can't wait to grab a box of that and rip it. So maybe I'll grab a box and just do a product preview and make sure it's not in what did you say when you looked at the last product preview I did? If we were doing it in 540,
like you're streaming from a Nokia phone, an old Nokia phone. So.
Yes. So really, just a couple products coming in this week. So guys, if you get to the shop and look for maybe some breaking of the Gypsy Queen product and get it while it's on the shelves. So, all right. Behind the counter and hobby advice, as Josh mentioned it, we're going to sort of combine things and talk about grading a bit, because guess what PSA did? They opened up economy. Before they were doing these events and it was like a lottery and you could get 15 spots. Now, as long as you're a member, a PSA member, I'm not sure, it's like $100 a year. They have opened it up. What are your thoughts on them opening up economy?
Yep. So recently, before economy was opened up, you could get the economy rate by submitting through some submitters like Palmetto that we partner up with. So we've been getting that $50 rate for a lot of our customers at trade night when they come and drop them off with Palmetto, or if they send them down there, or when we take stuff down there to them to submit for us. But now this means you can go to their website and get that economy rate. It makes me wonder if maybe an even better rate will be opened up for companies like Palmetto. So that would be a plus, because I like using them. Ed just said in the chat, HGA just opened back up 60-day. So it does feel like in the store and in the card world, things are calming a little bit, which is allowing things to open. If prices could just calm just a little bit, that would be equally nice. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't like, my thoughts on this. I've said it before. I don't like a bunch of super low priced options opening, because it's just going to clog up the works unless they can figure out a way to do that and really guarantee some economy and regular and express stuff getting back really fast. I don't know how they can do that, but I'm okay with, 30 or 40 being the bottom, just to kind of keep the low end base stuff out of there and make it a faster turnaround time for everybody. Still numbered cards only. Okay. That must, Ed, you're probably talking about HGA.
Yeah. So here's my hot take. You had your hot take with the LeBron thing. I think this is a clear signal that I think SGC may be in a little trouble here, because this is a clear signal that after they get through this backlog, if PSA drops things to $25 a card, because they've got capacity now. We'll talk about capacity. That's my stat of the week. But if they drop things down to where SGC is, because SGC $23 to $25 a card, and then that forces SGC to get
go
down
down
to $15 a card, and then they get overwhelmed and can't hit a 5-week turnaround time like they've been getting, then someone's going to have to, be Voltron and join up with another grading company.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
I think it's a clear signal that PSA is ready to, if they wanted to, they could crush everybody at this point.
I really hope this is just not eyes bigger than their stomach. I really hope that they can handle that huge uptick of cards coming in a timely manner, because I know we have customers still waiting on
the backlog,
economy submissions, bulk submissions from pre-COVID, and that's ridiculous. So why open up this stuff if you still have people waiting on cards for over a year? So that's where it gets a little confusing, unless it means those cards are right on the horizon and they can keep churning. But
and that's why I don't think that $25 level is going to be. It may not happen anytime like this year.
Yeah.
But the minute that happens, I mean, why send it to anybody else
for the same price? Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's SGC. SGC had I think they had their chance. I mean, I was talking to a buddy, Big Jason, Jason, and I was telling him what SGC should have done is they should have circled the wagons, dropped it to $15 a year ago, and just taken the hit and just increased capacity, flooded the market with SGC slabs, because this was an inevitability that PSA was going to get through the backlog, and then everybody would be at their mercy based on what their prices are, because of how well the resell other slabs are.
You don't think they could sell themselves on turnaround time if PSA can't?
No, because what's going to happen is SGC is going to drop their prices, get overwhelmed, and not be able to hit the turnaround time. It's lit. I think it could be checkmate.
What about they're both $25, but an SGC card you're going to get back in 30 days, and PSA you're going to get back in 90 business days.
Well, after they get through the backlog, there should be no reason why they couldn't match anybody's turnaround time. I mean, after they get through I think they have 3 million cards left in the backlog.
Oh, that's it?
Oh yeah. And they're doing almost $1 million cards a month now. They've got that capacity. So you're talking within the next year, they're through the backlog, and then they're going to want some sort of a backlog. So how do they do that? They drop the prices. And if it's even close, I tell you, if it's even close to what SGC is charging, they are dead.
Well, you heard it here first. A hot take from Michael.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, because you and I both talked about this. Competition's great, but this is everybody's ice skating uphill.
What about the people that like SGC?
I love SGC.
Or prefer SGC, I should say. Like, even I don't even submit to PSA. I prefer SGC. I send all my cards there. I don't care what PSA's price is, as long as SGC's price is fine. I'm gonna go there. So, granted, is there enough of those people to keep them in business or to keep them profitable? That would be the other question. But
I'm afraid. I love SGC. I'm afraid for them. And I've seen all the stuff that their CEO comes out with, and he's super likable. and he's super passionate. And they're sort of they've got this David and Goliath thing going on, and I'm rooting for them. But
well, you know who won in David and Goliath. So,
I do, and they're going to need a miracle. They're going to need a miracle. So, in the spirit of talking about, and we're seeing some comments come in, but in the spirit of talking about grading, I put together this little nerdy calculator. Just bear with me, and this is
nerd.
This is rudimentary. So, and this is just talking about PSA 9s, BGS 9s, CSG 9s. That's supposed to be SGC. Too many acronyms. And CSG.
Yeah.
And so, and I just took a $5 raw card, $50 raw card, $100 raw card, and a $500 raw card, right? And then added, these are your grading costs. So $50, $50, or no, I think it's $25. And then I believe CSG is $12 for like their bulk. $50 here. And then I'm just assuming, and you know what happens when you assume, that everybody's just going to stick with the same service level. Now, certainly if you had a $500 card and depending on the timing, you wanted it back before, say, the playoffs started, or you wanted it back before some event so that you could turn it around and flip it, then these grading fees can go up. You know, these can go up $100. Sure. But I'm just keeping the grading fee pretty standard to just make the argument. And so, and this is an estimated sales price. And so a PSA 9 of a raw card, and there's a wide range here, but we're just playing with the numbers. Let's just say it sells for $30 and you're in it for 55, then you're losing 25. So in this scenario of the $5 card, it's a loss. Yeah. All the way across the board. And so the take-home lesson number one, and you've said this, Josh, is try your best to send 10s, right? Do your diligence, and if you think it's a 10, send it on, unless it's a something for the PC or something that you don't.
Yeah. You know. Or vintage stuff would curb that too. So
right.
would.
And so that's the one take home, is that if you're not getting 10s and you're wanting to somehow turn things around and turn a profit quickly, and some of this stuff you may have to sit on till the market recovers. You may have to time the market in the preseason in football, or the preseason in baseball, or during the playoffs. But in general, if you're sending in 9s, then you're going to get crushed. But this is what I found interesting. So a $5 card, PSA 9 probably sells for 30. A 50 probably sells for 75. 100 maybe sells for 125. A 500, 525. Because that's what I'm seeing, is that PSA 9s now are right just above raw, the raw value of the card. And so if you look,
it used to be more like 8s was kind of the rule of thumb.
Absolutely. So there's two things going on there, right? Are PSA 9s undervalued? Might be, right? If the market right now is saying that PSA 9s are closer to raw, then there may be an opportunity there that PSA 9s.
Look, I didn't know I was going to have to answer questions and do math. Okay,
get a Red Bull. Get this man another Red Bull.
School that just got called on, and I don't know the answer.
Get this man another Red Bull. But if you look at this across the board, if it's 9s, then you may be looking at having to hold something or just cut your losses at 9s. But watch how this thing flips. If you get a 9, a PSA 9, of a $500 card, you're only losing $25 in every scenario if you send it with PSA now.
Yeah.
Look what happens if you send that thing to BGS.
And you get a 9, yeah.
And you get a 9. A CSG, and you get a 9.
I'm reading a user comment. To quote Chevy Chase, I was told there would be no math.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just wanted to talk about this because I'm just making this about myself.
Yeah, and it's not this.
It's not linear.
It is, it's a little player based, and
right.
I think there's probably some 9s you'd be okay to get and not lose money. But
absolutely. But check this out. In the current scenario, worst case scenario, SGC, you're taking a beating. That's a beating, right?
For sure.
But it's not as bad of a beating as these two guys here. So I think clearly the market has spoken that SGC is number 2 right now. And so
another hot take from Michael. If you are listening to this, it's we'll give our non-viewers, maybe people that are just listening, this is kind of a mathematical lesson that based on who you send the card with, if you get a 9, you're going to lose more with, BGS. You're not going to lose as much with SGC if you hit that 9. I wonder if half grades come into play, knowing that, if you're not getting, if you send it to BGS and you get a 9, then it wasn't even a 9.5. Because if you send it to PSA and you get a 9, it just pulled it off of a 10. You might not have been too far from it. But if you get a 9 from Beckett, you're far from a 10 probably because you didn't even get the 9.5. So there's probably some of that in there. But I got to give Nancy a shout out. Nancy, you're married to a great man named Ed. You need to take good care of him. He's one of our favorites.
Hello,
Ed. Nancy sounds beautiful.
That's right. Nancy, thank you for letting us borrow Ed for 3 hours. Just kidding.
Now up his allowance. Now up his card allowance a little bit. Just kidding. But it used to be, I don't know. So it used to be the if you were going to grade a card, if you get an 8, you've lost money, and so you want to sell that card raw. Let's say it's a $50 card. If you send it to PSA and you spend $50 to get it graded and it comes back an 8, you're going to sell it for $50. So you just lost money. There's no sense in grading it. If you get a 9, you would bump it up a little bit. But at these graded prices, I think your point is you're still going to lose a little bit. You really got to get a 10 to be profitable. And again, that's not a blanket statement for every card, but
I mean, if you look at it and if we start playing with these numbers, right, if all of a sudden a raw card in general that sells for 5 raw and a 9, let's just say you do break even, and this goes to 55. And this goes to 100. And this goes to 150. And this goes to 550.
Can I have a hall pass for the restroom?
Yes.
But here's the question: Why are we sending $5 raw cards to get graded?
That's a great question. Why do that? Are we in the business of doing that? Is that something that you can make money if you're trying to do that?
I got to put Derek's question up there. We're giving you crap.
Yes, Derek. And there will be a giveaway of a $5 raw card.
But don't grade it. You'll lose money.
But don't grade it.
Well, I think the reason for the long turnaround times is because the world was sending $5 cards, knowing if they got a 9, that because it cost them $10 to grade it, and that $5 card becomes $20, and if they got a 10, that $5 card became $50, and so now it was a no-brainer. I'm going to send anything that I can get a 9 or a 10, and if it comes back an 8, who cares? I probably still get my money back for what I sent, and so whole entire collections were sent, and
Oh yeah.
here's
I
the
mean,
message.
this is what it used to look like in the craze. I mean, it was going nuts to where you were just going to be making money all day long, and this would be 1,000,
You just had to get them back in your hand and get them turned around quick, and
that'd be a 3,000. I mean, this is what it used to look like. No matter what you did, you were making money. It's just now you just have to be more careful. So,
well, Derek says, in all seriousness, though, he appreciates the information, and I think we should get back to talking about Nancy.
yes, Nancy, what are your thoughts about sending in $5 cards? Would you ever do that? Would you ever let Ed do that? I wouldn't.
Ed's in the flower business, Ed. You're just going to have to get her some flowers on the house. It used to be when we got married, every time I went out and bought something frivolous, I had to allow her to buy something frivolous. So I knew if I was going to buy something that cost $200, it was going to cost me $400, because she would say, well, if you get to spend $200, then I get to spend $200. So
I can remember the day when I came home with roses that cost like $180, and Susan was furious. She could not believe that I spent that much on something that was going to die.
Yeah.
She told me that.
Smart woman.
And I said, okay.
Buy me some shoes.
Duly noted. All right. So there will be a quiz at the end. And if you get it right, then we'll...
all you got to do is grade higher than me, and it won't be hard. I promise. I slept during most of this presentation. So just kidding. Thank you, Michael, for the number crunching. That is, like, in all seriousness, a very important part of this when you're doing this for a financial standpoint. I mean, what you grade and what you get graded and who you send it to is a huge part of it. So the amount of people that come into the shop looking for graded cards has really gone way up. I think you kind of know what you're getting, and
Absolutely. We got a question here, a real question that will take that will take the focus away from the nasty spreadsheet that I just put up there. Go ahead, Josh. You want to read that?
Yeah. Do you feel like an influx of cards to be graded has caused the average rating to go down? Yeah, so there's kind of that. I know guys that are submitting regularly all the time, and they said it feels like there's periods of time where they get lots of 10s, and then there's a stretch where it's like they can't buy a 10, and of course it just makes you wonder, like, are they kind of moderating the amount of 10s? Is it purely coincidental? Does Nancy care about graded cards as much?
I don't know, but this Facebook user is awesome. Awesome.
McCahell. They love your spreadsheet, McCahell.
All right, enough about the spreadsheet. Card from the vault.
Card from the vault time already?
And I'm gonna go first since my spreadsheet was taking a beating there. I don't have a card from the vault, but what I do have is a ball from the vault, and I was seeing if you guys...
We should see if they can guess the signature, because I guessed it by looking at it, because I've seen his signature before.
Who is that, guys?
That's a pretty clear shot. Pretty clear shot. Let's hear a few guesses in the chat while I show off some cards.
Here, let me do that.
Oh, yeah.
So...
That's got it. Yeah, Ed got it first.
So I, back in a previous life, played a lot of golf. I mentioned that. And I got the chance to play golf with Sid Bream. And Sid Bream was kind enough to send me this ball and another ball that I won't show, but it's got, I think it's all the Braves from 1991 on it. So... that's my cool. That's my John Smoltz ball.
Yeah, so Ed got that one. Nancy, not only is Ed handsome, he's smart and knowledgeable. Nancy's gonna get
Nancy has taken over. Nancy has taken over the podcast. And I love it. I
All
love
right,
it.
so I'm gonna, before I show my card from the vault, I'm gonna show these cards. These are cards that the store picked up, and they are in the process of being sold, and so they'll only be in the vault for a day or two. But this is a juicy little PSA grab that came through, and I'll just show you some of them. So these are really not in the vault because they're already gone through. So my guy, my early call for MVP. So a couple 9s, nothing crazy, but this is the infamous Trout update. PSA 9, a couple 9s there.
The undervalued 9s
Yep.
that we just talked about.
The undervalued but easy to sell because some people can't afford a 10 or they don't want a 10. They want some 9s.
The Nancy spreadsheet is what we're going to call it from now on.
Yep. So who I talked about earlier. So we got a Bowman Chrome LeBron, also 9.
Nice.
But a great investment for the person that's buying it. A very short-term investment for me. The last 4 cards is all the same player. Another one I think people should be buying right now. My homies.
What?
So these are the base Donruss, but they are 10s. A couple of those.
Nice.
I don't think not having, let's be real, not having Tyreek isn't going to slow them down that much. They've got plenty of weapons. And then these are pretty cool. This is the Optic pink version of Mahomes that got a PSA 10. I know JP wants these. He's a little Mahomes PC collector, but these are already sold. And then the last one, I don't think I feel like I see this one as much, but this card, I just love the colors on it. Mm-hmm. It's the red and yellow Optic Mahomes PSA 10. So
would that be considered a color match, the red and yellow? I guess it would be, right?
Sure, yeah. Blue throws it off a little bit, but that's pretty sweet. So those are just kind of like passing through my hands. Here's 2 that are actually in my vault, and I thought they were pretty fitting. I do wish I had 1 card of this player that I do wish I had back. I sold it already. It came out of the vault and sold last year, and I wish I had it. But a Luka.
What? Nice. That's very timely.
The base paper rated rookie, PSA 10. So no brainer. His rookie year, I said he would end up being the all-time leading scorer. That's a super hot take, and I said that his rookie year, so I keep on.
That's a nuclear take. That's not hot. That's nuclear.
A lot of it is because of his age. He came in so super young, and he's just been scoring off the bat. So this is, if you're familiar with status,
that's a pretty
little lower end, but I think it is a better looking card.
Beautiful.
Yep, these aren't monstrously expensive at all, but they're cool. They're 10s, and they're Lukas and they're rookies. So
yeah, I'm a sucker for a beautiful card. That's a beautiful card.
I thought fitting for them advancing. We would show off some Lukas on the podcast tonight.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Cards from the vault.
All right. What's coming next week?
Wait, let me show this one too. I picked this up today. It's not worthy of its own.
Here we go.
This isn't expensive. This is just one I didn't have, and it was on my desk. And since we're drooling over cards, we're a card podcast. I think Nancy would love this one with the stars in it.
Yes, Nancy, what are your thoughts?
That's like a $20 card at most, but it's going in the vault, or it's going in the Brady collection. So got that off a customer today.
So if it's $20, do you want me to bring up the spreadsheet again? At the $20?
Yeah, do I need to grade it? What do I need to grade?
So, I'm kidding. I'm not going to put anybody through that again. All right. Coming to the shop. Wrap this thing up. Man,
Nancy just booed Brady.
Oh, no.
We're over. Ed is now getting all bad teams and all the randoms from now on.
Oh, no. And the roll tied? No. What is going on? It was a mediocre episode, and now it's become awful.
I still like Nancy. I'm going to forgive her.
Okay. War Eagle. Okay. What's coming to the shop?
All right. So next week is a pretty light week. We could look maybe just a hair past. But I think just impeccable basketball, which is, one of those super expensive high-end basketball. It's one pack in a box and you get 9 cards. And it's probably, I don't even know pricing yet. It's probably going to be $1,000 a box or something, but we won't get a ton of it because we're tired of trying to sell single boxes for $1,000 as well. We like to sell Gypsy Queen. It's much easier.
Right.
So really, that's the only thing we're going.
Let me butt in real quick. What if you were going to do a break for a high-end product like that? That you would do like a hit break. Is that what they're called? Or
you could do a serial
draft
number
break or a serial number break?
Yeah, you could do a serial number break and just go off of knowing there's going to be some numbered cards in there. And then even if it's not a numbered card, the card will have a number. So you would need 10 participants for a serial number, 0 through 9. And then, you could go that route. But
just wondering how a simple fellow like me could get into a product like that.
Well, you do random teams, that gets cheap, but then out of 9 cards, you're going to have a lot of people don't get a card, but it's going to cost you a lot less to roll the dice.
Okay. All right. Ooh, boy, look at that. Prism Football just got announced, $2,500 a box.
Yeah, and that's FOTL, which is first off the line. So the regular hobby will be less than that. But if it's $2,500 for first off the line, you're probably looking 15 to 2 for regular boxes. So we're going to have to break those because no one can afford them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Derek, we did do that. Tier 1 series number breaks with. Yeah, that's right. We did do Tier 1 last. I'm gun shy, guys, on the break page. Nothing's getting filled like it used to, so now I'm really gun shy. We're gonna keep working on it.
Let's get these breaks filled, guys, so that Josh breaks the juicy stuff. Let's do it.
Yep. So light week next week, but there'll always be something new, whether it be fill in or retail or something as well. So.
And we have the next trade night coming up. Maybe.
So we're going to tease y'all a little bit. If you want to kind of pencil it in on your calendars, it's not set in stone, but it's set in clay. Maybe June 11th is a Saturday, so a little less than a month out. We like to do them about a month and a half apart. June 11th. So A, weather should be nice. B, we're going to try to maybe have a food truck if weather is nice. Ed, Nancy, have a good night. Ed, I'm breaking that box. You can watch the video tomorrow if you would like. Good night, Nancy. So June 11th, mark your calendar. It may change, but probably not. So Saturday night, like we said, possible food truck. We're going to try to get some more elbow room in there because we were packed like sardines last time. And that means opening up the doors, maybe using a little bit of the sidewalk and the parking lot with the food truck out there. And then we can even use next door so we can, if some guys want to grab their own table next door or something, we've outgrown the one store for trade night, and that's a good problem to have. But if we open up the parking lot and get a food truck in there and have both doors open to both sides, then we can just kind of come and go wherever we want. So it's always a good time. June 11th, we'll have some more fun.
Excellent. All right. Crazy stat of the week. Let's put a pin in this episode. It's been a little crazy. But what's your crazy stat, Josh?
So mine is basketball related, but not a current basketball player. So we all know mine is about Vince Carter. I thought this was just crazy. So Vince Carter has played at least one game against almost 40% of the entire NBA history of players. So to understand it, all-time NBA players, and again, this is whenever this was recent, but 4,489 people have played in the NBA. Vince Carter has played a game against 1,668 for them because he had such a long career, which made, at the time of this stat, 37% of every player that's ever played in the NBA has played against a game against Vince Carter. That was kind of mind-boggling to me. And Michael's brain is blown.
No more spreadsheets, I promise. All right, my crazy stat. I'm going to share it. And they're just a bunch of crazy stats. Yesterday, PSA graded 5,600 cards.
5,600 cards yesterday.
They in May so far 425,000 cards.
And we're halfway through May, so 1 million cards a month, roughly.
They will get to, if they wanted to, they could do it. So,
so if you're wanting to know how many cards get sent to PSA, millions, because they're doing 1 million a month almost.
Yep.
That is very practical for what we've talked about and what we're dealing with, and pretty mind-blowing.
Yes. Basketball leads. Baseball. Wow, look at baseball in the last 30 days.
Probably that moment.
Football, and then the rest.
I am shocked by the football is dark blue.
Well, here's the number broken out. Last 30 days. More baseball than football in the last 30 days.
We're in that season.
People are maybe trying to time that a little bit, but
yeah.
Anyway, there's your wrestling. Look at the wrestling. Where is it? Boxing, wrestling. 6,900.
If Matt Roper's still watching, I don't know if Matt's still watching or catches it later. I watched my first AEW episode last week, so now I'm gonna start following that a little bit since I've been following the WWE. So, Matt, I think you watch AEW. We can talk AEW next time.
Awesome. Well, Josh,
got a Bowman break. Yep.
Got a Bowman break. We've got trade night coming up. We're getting Gypsy Queen in the shop this week. I'm so happy about that. Any parting shots for those who have stuck around this long?
No, thank you guys for sticking around or listening after the fact. We're going to wrap this up, and then I'm going to go straight into breaking that Bowman break. I'm going to aim for 9 o'clock, which is in about 5 minutes. So if you're a part of that, we'll be live shortly. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Bye.